September 9th, 2022. Halfcast 346, episode 346. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? The suspect who allegedly beheaded his ex-girlfriend on the street has been arrested. Jose Rafael Solano Landeta, 33, was arrested on homicide charges after he allegedly killed his ex-girlfriend Karina Castro, 27, outside her apartment around 11:50 a.m. Thursday during a domestic dispute in the Bay Area city of San Carlos. I'm pulling from two different news sources here. Castro's family told ABC7 that the 33-year-old suspect is the father of her 1-year-old daughter and told the news channel that he is a diagnosed schizophrenic. Diagnosed schizophrenic means that there's a record that a facility knows what this man was capable of if he veers away from his therapy, if he veers away from the medicinal regimen that's prescribed to him. Even if it didn't call for him to be 100% institutionalized, he still should have been a little bit more closely monitored. Castro is the mother of 2 children, one of whom is Landeta's 1-year-old daughter. After the attack, Landeta fled on foot 2 blocks away, but later returned to the crime scene unarmed. Sheriff's officials said he was taken into custody and booked into jail, where he remains without bail. ABC reported that the victim had got a temporary restraining order against the man back in April, but did not disclose if that order was still active at the time of her death. I'm not on the inside, so this is clearly speculation, but I can see him going off of his medication or going off of his therapy, or possibly both, and acting out in a way that made her feel uncomfortable, that made her feel unsafe. Therefore, she goes and gets the restraining order. In that time, he gets back on his meds or he goes back to his therapy, and everything is right for the foreseeable future. Until that time, he goes back off and everything just turns. I miss her already. Martin Castro, Karina's father, told KRON4, "My heart is empty without her. She was my best friend." On Friday, he mourned at the scene of the murder. Several of Karina Castro's friends also wrote tributes to her on Facebook. San Carlos Mayor Sarah McDowell said in a statement that the community remains shocked by the tragic murder. "The city council and its employees join our community in expressing our deepest condolences to the 2 young children who lost their mother in this horrific and senseless act of violence, and to all the victims' family, friends, and loved ones who suffer this loss as well," she said. Next up, Wendy's employee sabotages railroad crossing just to have a slow shift. This has to be the textbook definition of wasted potential, because if you know how to do that much to a railroad, what the hell are you doing working at Wendy's and hating it? A Wendy's employee in Pennsylvania has been arrested for sabotaging railroad equipment. According to police, he did it with hopes of causing a malfunction that would have activated the crossing guards, resulting in a traffic disruption and therefore a slow shift. Most people would have called out. Normal people would have called out, but no, not this guy. He has a very particular set of skills. Oh, perfect. Look at this photo. In about 2 weeks, somebody's gonna doctor some coconut fuzz on it and say they found Bigfoot walking along the railroad tracks. A local 34-year-old was accused of interfering with sensors along the Reading, yep, just like the Monopoly game, and Northern, according to WFMZ. Railroad police say that at 6:58 p.m. on August 26, a surveillance camera captured an individual tampering with railroad equipment by installing what was reported to be a shunt, which sends a signal to the crossing gate. How could someone know how to bypass this switch without, 1, electrocuting themselves, and number 2, not setting off any sensors that there's been a change? This is interesting. This is very interesting, but it's also very concerning. According to trains, The suspect was identified by his co-workers, yep, that's him, who recognized his restaurant uniform. Not a jacket or anything. Since his arrest, he has reportedly identified an accomplice who dropped him off at the railroad crossing, according to WFMZ. During the interview, they told us that their intentions were that if the gates could malfunction and they could somehow block traffic, then that would prevent people from getting to Wendy's and they could have a slow night at work, said Officer Frank Cataldi of the Tilden Township Police. See, this is what happens when you don't give these damn intellectuals more challenging roles. They tend to act out. Officer Cataldi claimed a crash could have absolutely occurred. Yes, they bypassed the sensors, so the system is telling everyone that everything is just peachy. According to the National University Rail Center, however, shunts are designed to send false positives to crossing gates rather than false negatives, which would have activated the crossing gates instead of disabling them. The man has reportedly been charged with causing or risking a catastrophe, criminal mischief, and reckless endangerment. The incident remains under investigation by the Township and Railroad Police, as well as the Federal Bureau of Investigation. They seek a search warrant for his phone and evidence of an ulterior motive. Definitely, because that's a little bit overkill just to get out of a hard day's work. Next up, Florida woman named Tupac Shakur accused of assaulting a man with a baseball bat outside of a hospital. Oh. I mean, I give her points for creativity. But if you're picking an alias, you don't want to go big. Jane Smith would have blended in just fine. A Miami woman, Miami, why am I not surprised? A Miami woman named Tupac Amaru Shakur, took the whole name, is facing charges for allegedly attacking an elderly man. It hasn't been that long. People still know who he is. Bizarrely, the alleged assault took place on September 7th, the 26th anniversary of the 1996 shooting that led to the death of the California hip-hop star who bore the same name as Miss Shakur. Miss Shakur, 34, is accused of using a baseball bat to attack a man sitting on a bench outside of Hialeah Hospital at 651 East 25th Street, Local10.com reported. Initially, I figured that if she was young enough, her parents could have given her that name, but no. No. 100% alias. The victim told authorities that Miss Shakur is a homeless woman who frequents the area and that he had seen her several times before. After being attacked, he allegedly managed to take the bat from Miss Shakur and ran inside the hospital. The attack around 11:30 a.m. on Tuesday left the victim with injuries on his face, lip, and right side of his body. After reviewing the surveillance video, Miss Shakur was located 7 blocks away from the hospital and arrested by officers. She was booked into Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center and charged with the felony charge of aggravated battery on a person 65 or older. Miss Shakur reportedly told police that she had been the one to be attacked by the victim, according to Local10.com. She also told authorities that she was investigating an incident that occurred at the library downtown. Oh, then by all means, Miss Shakur, let us not hold you up and hinder your investigation. Fun show, fun show, fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.